Good morning. Good morning. It is getting a little bit cooler out there. Leaves will be changing soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Courtesy Call, the podcast where I rant about politics, world affairs, and societal issues. I am your host, Scott Perry, and it is Sunday, September 12th, 2021, and fall is a little over a week away. Can you believe it? Amazing, huh? A week from Wednesday to be exact. And who is excited? Who is excited to see the leaves change, all the apple and pumpkin spice beverages, and a reason to use the oven again? That's right. It's been a while since I have made a roast. I love roasts. I love cooking my traditional Sunday roasts. And I've been without that for about 4 months because I don't like using the oven during the summer. The summer, it's too hot. It's a time to use the grill. It's a grilling season. And time to make sandwiches, be at the beach, eat at other places. So, so it's been a while since I've had the privilege to make a roast in the comfort of my own home. And I'll be able to do that again with the weather being a little bit more cooler. So that's going to be great. I know at least one person who's excited about the fall season. It's this guy right here. Definitely looking forward to it. Like I said in last week's episode, I love fall. I love it. Absolutely. It's one of my favorite seasons next to summer. It's one of my favorite 4 seasons next to summer. Summer's got to be my favorite because I'm a beach bum. I love the beach. As those who are friends with me on my personal Facebook page know that I go to the beach a lot every summer. I go eat seafood a lot. I love going to sporting events and all that other stuff. So summer is just a great delight. Wonderful delight. It's my favorite season of all the 4 seasons that we get here in New England. And and it's pretty sad now that it's coming to an end. I am a little sad over it, but like I said, fall is my second favorite season, so I cannot wait. It picks up some of those, some of the sad feelings, and it makes me look forward to a lot more things to do in the fall. So, like I said, pumpkin spice, apple spice, going for walks, parks, still musical events, mostly indoor events, indoor sports. Hockey, my favorite sport of all, and then the winter, and then all that stuff. So I cannot wait. And like I said, summer unofficially ended last Sunday, so it is kind of sad. Like I said, fall and winter is right around the corner. So it's fairs. Fairs is another thing to look forward to. Baked desserts, Halloween season. Don't forget the 2 wonderful major holidays known as Thanksgiving and Christmas. Can't forget those, right? Which I absolutely adore. And my main reason it's my main reason to have an excuse to stuff my face and receive gifts. So, all right. Well, the weather may be getting colder, but the headlines are definitely getting hotter as things are heating up in the White House this past week as the Biden administration announced this past week a COVID-19 vaccine mandate that will affect about 100 million Americans. Take a listen to this.
Highly contagious Delta variant that I began to warn America about back in July spread late summer like it did in other countries before us. While the vaccines provide strong protection for the vaccinated, we read about and hear about and we see the stories of hospitalized people on their deathbeds among the unvaccinated over the past few weeks. This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and it's caused by the fact that despite America having unprecedented and successful vaccination program, despite the fact that for almost 5 months, free vaccines have been available in 80,000 different locations, we still have nearly 80 million Americans who have failed to get the shot. And to make matters worse, there are elected officials actively working to undermine the fight against COVID-19. Instead of encouraging people to get vaccinated and mask up, they're ordering mobile morgues for the unvaccinated dying from COVID in their communities. This is totally unacceptable. The unvaccinated overcrowd our hospitals, are overrunning emergency rooms and intensive care units, leaving no room for someone with a heart attack or pancreatitis or cancer. And a distinct minority of Americans, supported by a distinct minority of elected officials, are keeping us from turning the corner. These pandemic politics, as I refer to, are making people sick, causing unvaccinated people to die. We cannot allow these actions to stand in the way of protecting the large majority of Americans who have done their part and want to get back to life as normal. This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you, the people you work with, the people you care about, the people you love. My job as president is to protect all Americans. So tonight, I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees that together employ over 80 million workers to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated or show a negative test at least once a week. Some of the biggest companies are already requiring this. The bottom line, we're going to protect vaccinated workers from unvaccinated coworkers. We're going to reduce the spread of COVID-19 by increasing the share of the workforce that is vaccinated in businesses all across America. I will sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees to be vaccinated, all. And I've signed another executive order that will require federal contractors to do the same. If you want to work with the federal government and do business with us, get vaccinated. If you want to do business with the federal government, vaccinate your workforce. And tonight, I'm removing one of the last remaining obstacles that make it difficult for you to get vaccinated. The Department of Labor will require employers with 100 or more workers to give those workers paid time off to get vaccinated. No one should lose pay in order to get vaccinated or take a loved one to get vaccinated.
So, to sum up what our wonderful president said, workers throughout the country who work for federal agencies, contracting agencies, and many other large companies must be fully vaccinated or undergo a COVID test every week that shows a negative result. Yeah. This is due to the Biden administration's patience wearing thin, due to, well, people refusing to get vaccinated. People are stupid today. A lot of people are stupid today. Not everybody, but a good chunk of us Americans are complete idiots. You know, people are out there refusing to get vaccinated and get this thing fully under control because of the conspiracy theories, because of other nonsense they read on the internet, and it's getting old. It's getting pretty much to the point where things need to be done now. So these are the actions that the Biden administration needs to take to pretty much do that. Okay? Now I get it. You know, the vaccine doesn't prevent you from catching it, from getting the virus or transmitting it. So you technically can't call it a vaccine. You know, I get it. I get it. But this whole thing is strictly to make sure that your well-being is in check and not other people's. However, we should be encouraging our friends and families to get the shot and be safe. I mean, he is right. Our president is right. This thing isn't over, and people are making the wrong decisions to get the shot, and they're making things worse. However, I am still on the idea of let people do whatever they want, okay? I still got that in the back of my head. I still got part of that belief in check. You know, I think that people should have the free will to do what they want. You know, let them find out the hard way if they don't want to do it. You know, let them suffer their own consequences. And a lot of them already are. But continue to refuse to do the right thing, that is all on them. That should be all on them. I will get more into this later in the episode. But now I would like to shift things over to the other big issue that this country is dealing with. And that is the issues that are still lingering from the aftermath, from the premature pullout and abandonment of our citizens over in Afghanistan. So, I read an article the other day that was on CNN's website. CNN, of course, one of the trusted news sources. One of the news sources that I trust the most. I read an article about Qatar, and there was a plane that came in and picked up some of the people who were left behind in Afghanistan and brought them to probably a place a little bit better. So let me read this. So this article was from last Friday, and this is what it says. It says a second Qatar Airways passenger flight, which arrived in Afghanistan last Friday, has now departed from Doha, for Doha, from Kabul airport. A day after more than 100 foreign nationals left on another plane with the Taliban's approval. Friday's flight was carrying 158 passengers, including U.S., German, Canadian, French, Dutch, British, Belgian, and Mauritanian nationals. A Qatari official said. The passengers will land on the Qatari capital at 8 p.m., which is they already have, which is 1 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and will be transported to the compound facility currently hosting Afghans and other evacuees. So things still happening. Still a lot of maintenance needs to be done because we left some people behind, and we're not the only country who has foreign citizens who are still stuck in Afghanistan. And I'm glad that the Taliban is showing a new light than what they have in past years. If this was like the old Taliban, they probably already shot some of these foreign people, are taking them for prisoner and made some demands and made some orders. But they all know how that's going to come about. I think the Taliban, every member of the Taliban should know what we're capable of by now. 20 years of keeping things under control over there should, definitely keep them, should make them understand that you just can't screw around with America. And you can't go about it that way. Being civil is the best way. It really is. It really is. And I'm glad that the Taliban is being a little more reasonable about it. However, we all know that once all the foreign citizens are finally sent back to their countries, that once all this mess is cleaned up, the Taliban's going to go right back to abusing their citizens, abusing their people, and, doing the wrong thing. So that's just the light of it, and we don't want any part of it. We believe that people over in Afghanistan need to situate their own problems. The Taliban and the citizens need to work something out together, and the damn Afghan government needs to stop being so weak and actually take control of Afghanistan and regulate some of the things that we've shown them, and use some of the tools that we've given them. And I'm not talking about the weapons. Taliban confiscated those. And they were just parading around, downtown Kabul, showing off their weapons and showing off what they stole from us or what we left behind. Stupid us for leaving them behind. But, it's very disappointing. Either way, it's very disappointing. It's kind of, upsetting that we have to leave it this way. But that's just the way things need to be. And if the Afghan government can just grab the bull by the horns, that would be fantastic, and take control and make sure that their citizens are not abused by the Taliban. But who knows? Maybe the Taliban will actually surprise us and actually try to run the government, a more healthy way and more fluently, and look to run it, to be more fair and not abuse their people. Maybe they'll start doing that. I don't know. I'm not holding my breath. But it looks like there have been some some of those people who are left behind have been, taken to an area that is neutral, I would say. And there is, I think it says, according to a Afghan official, said, "We will continue to provide proven options for leaving. It is up to the Americans who remain whether they choose to take them." So I wonder what those options are. It says that this is the second such flight to depart from the airport. On Thursday, the first international passenger flight to take off from Afghanistan since the chaotic U.S. military airlift last month. Landed in Qatar, carrying scores of foreign nationals, including Americans. And it says the French Foreign Ministry said in a statement that 49 French citizens and their dependents were evacuated Friday from Kabul in an operation assisted by Qatar. So thank you, Qatar, for assisting. Thank you for doing your good deed. Still more work needs to be done. It's not like going to be a cleanup that's going to only take a couple of weeks or a couple months. I think for the rest of the year, they have a lot more maintenance to do to get everybody out of there and to totally hand over the Afghanistan to the Taliban, such. But all right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Still to come in the episode, we got COVID-19 and more on the vaccines and updates on the numbers. I would like to talk more about what's going on with our president, what other things he's doing. But when we come back, the former guy, the guy we haven't talked about in a while, that not many sources have talked about until as of recent. I'll share that with you when we come back, so don't go anywhere. Still more to come here on Courtesy Call.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Every morning, I thought I had to make a choice. Do I use a toothpaste that whitens my teeth or one that's good for my teeth? Now I don't have to choose. My dentist told me about Crest Whitening Therapy, so I tried it.
From Crest 3D White comes Whitening Therapy. It's our best whitening technology. Plus, it has a fortifying formula to protect your enamel.
Now I get a whiter smile and healthy teeth all in one.
The 3D White collection from Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Subarus are made for winter with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, so you can help your friend when they break down in the middle of nowhere. Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand. That's a Subaru.
Morning. Can I have a coffee, please?
We can do better than that. How about an acorn spiced latte?
No, thanks.
What about a nitro charcoal brew with dry ice?
Oh, no.
The charcoal purifies the soul.
Just a regular coffee is fine. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk milks. We got okra milk, we have sloth milk, and then we have fresh unicorn milk. Only $12 extra. Isn't that right, Caliber?
Whoa. I'll just do half and half. And my coffee?
Okay, but first, Fomart. Ta-da!
Okay, you know what? This is ridiculous. I just want a coffee. I'm sorry.
Why does everyone leave us?
Does your plug-in fade too fast? Try new Febreze Fade Defy Plug. It has built-in technology to digitally control how much scent is released to smell first day fresh for 50 days. La 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 la.
This Bud Light Seltzer lemonade is packed with lemonade flavor.
Yeah, it even has more flavor than my grandma's lemonade.
She still lives here, right?
Yeah, it even has more flavor than grandma's lemonade.
Oh, no.
Guess our hearing is better than we thought.
New Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade. Packed with more flavor than Grandma's lemonade.
Oh, just one.
Jake from State Farm, it's the least I can do. You really did me a solid with that, Maya markdown on my insurance.
Here's the deal, Maya. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right.
No, really, there are no markdowns, just great rates.
Pull around back in 20 minutes. I'll hook you up with the good parts.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back, everyone, to Courtesy Call Podcast here on IPMNation.com. For those who are just joining us, before the break, I went into what our wonderful president addressed this past week, giving the COVID-19 vaccine mandates for those who work for federal facilities, contracting agencies, and other large companies, and ordering them to either get fully vaccinated or to undergo a COVID test weekly that shows negative results. So yeah, Biden administration not messing around. And I also played a little speech that he made this past week regarding that, and kind of expressed my feelings towards it. I agree. We all need to get on board with it. We need to do what we need to do to get this virus under control. So after that, I talked about the issues in Afghanistan, the aftermath of the premature pullout, and, you know, I kind of read out an article. I stated about what they're doing about the citizens who were left behind in Afghanistan. And I read an article that was on CNN, that CNN posted last Friday, and addressed that, stating that Qatar has stepped in and helped out, remove, not only help transport Americans, but also citizens from other countries over to a safe zone area, where they'll be processed for a bit before heading back to their actual home country. So congratulate Qatar for helping out, assisting with the citizens who were left behind in Afghanistan. So if you have any questions or comments about anything that pertains to this episode or previous episodes, feel free to reach out on both our Facebook and Twitter. Our Facebook is facebook.com/courtesycallpodcast, and our Twitter is @courtesycall4u. That's the @ courtesy call, the number 4, and uppercase letter U. And just let me know what you think. As a quick reminder to let all you listeners know, all you frequent listeners know, that next week there'll be no new episode. That's right. Episode 32 will not be available for download next week. It will be available for download the following week, which will be Sunday, September 26th. On IPM Nation at 10 a.m. So if you're looking for a new episode next week, you're not going to find it. It is going to be held a week. It's going to be postponed by a week because I have other important affairs to take care of that are a little more important on next Saturday and next weekend. So I won't be available to produce the episode. So episode 32, again, episode 32 will be available for download not next week, the 19th, but the week after, Sunday, September 26th at 10 a.m. on IPMNation.com. Okay, well, for those who are frequent listeners, would know what comes next. So this is the point in the episode where I plug local businesses who suffer from the pandemic and could use help, who did not have an ad available for rotation during the commercial break. So most of them are from here in New Hampshire. Some of them are out of state. But they all could use your help still as they are still suffering from the effects from the pandemic from last year. So, and such and whatnot, from the shutdown. So without further ado, here we go. Moe's Italian Sandwiches, making the original since 1959 with locations all over the Granite State, including one in Dover, one in Portsmouth, and one here in Concord, New Hampshire. D Designs. For those who are looking to get their artwork done for either their website or business logo, feel free to contact Danielle Festa Keefe at dgraphicsnh.com. That is dgraphicsnh.com. Danielle Festa-Keefe is not only a talented graphic art designer, but she's also a very talented painter. And she would like you to see her artwork from the comfort of your own home if you don't feel safe going to a gallery. She understood that galleries have shut down. Some of them went out of business. Some of them are not funded anymore, unfortunately, sadly, unfortunately due to the pandemic. But she wants to make it convenient for you, for those who do not feel comfortable going out to the public to view some art. So she has what's called a virtual reality art gallery, where she has uploaded all the artwork that she has done by hand into this program, the software that is a virtual reality art gallery. It actually has VR rooms that you can walk through. You can do it with your Oculus, or you can do it just online. And you could see all the wonderful paintings that she has done. I believe she has a link on her website, or on dgraphicsnh.com, but she also has it on her Facebook page. That is Danielle Festa-Keefe on her Facebook page. And you just click on the link, fill out the registration, and enjoy the wonderful paintings from a very wonderful and talented artist. So again, that is Danielle Festa-Keefe at dgraphicsnh.com. Crawlspace Audio. For those who are looking to get audio projects done, such as podcasts, or you're a musician looking to record your work, feel free to reach out to Dave Swillem at 603-275-2020. That is 603-275-2020. The Cake Fairy Bakery, located at 110 Old Londonderry Turnpike Road in Hooksett, New Hampshire. They serve wonderful baked goods such as cakes, pies, cannolis, cupcakes, dessert logs, etc., etc. But what they're best known for is their eclairs. You love eclairs, you're going to love this place. And you think eclairs are just, they're okay. This place will change your mind and get you to becoming a eclair fiend in no time. I mean, they have wonderful eclairs. They're made just right. Really good size. The custard is nice and decadent, as well as the cream that's on top, the little fudge cream that they put on top. And it's a nice, soft pastry shell. It's a nice, soft pastry shell that you'll definitely enjoy. So, yeah. It's run by an Italian woman who, came here in the United States from Italy with a Rolodex of recipes, and she makes everything from scratch and does everything the same way as she has done things over in Italy. And as you know, Italian food's amazing, especially over in Italy. It's something you just can't beat. And so definitely check them out. That is the Cake Fairy Bakery, located at 110 Old Londonderry Turnpike Road in Hooksett, New Hampshire. Speaking of bakeries, Clem's Bakery, located at 29 Indian Rock Road, Windham, New Hampshire. Clem's serves also cannolis, eclairs, cakes, pies, cupcakes, etc., etc. But what they're best known for is their donuts. And if you love donuts as much as I do, you're going to love this place. They serve all the traditional kinds, from old-fashioned, honey glazed. They also have chocolate frosted, strawberry frosted, and jelly filled. But what they're best known for is both their vanilla and chocolate cream filled donuts. What it is just a soft baked yeast shell made just right, baked just right, nice and soft. And they put their homemade vanilla cream in one of them and a homemade chocolate cream in the other. It's not combined, unfortunately. That'd be interesting, though. That would be interesting. But it's just one donut that's one type of donut that's vanilla cream, and the other type of donut that is chocolate cream. But it's homemade, made from scratch, and you can't beat it. It's amazing. They're very addicting, very dangerous for those looking to diet. Very dangerous. That will be your calories for maybe the rest of the week. One of them. So, but check them out. Definitely, that is Clem's Bakery, which is KLEMMS Bakery, located at 29 Indian Rock Road in Windham, New Hampshire, in the same outlet as a bunch of other businesses. I didn't really pay attention, but so yeah, check them out. Check them out. So. All right. Well, before I took the commercial break, before we went into break, I said I was going to give you some news about the former guy, yeah, we haven't talked about the former guy in a while. and it's been peaceful. It's been very peaceful not hearing from him. But obviously he's going to come popping back up in the media. We didn't fully, push him off the cliff yet. It's going to take a lot more than defeating him at an election to get rid of him. I mean, this guy's he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. And some of you may be asking, well, what did he do now? What's going on? For those who haven't paid attention to the news, here's what the former guy has been up to. It's actually been an array of things. Well, first off, he ended up endorsing Harriet Hageman, who is the opponent for Liz Cheney in the upcoming election, I believe for the representatives, and of course this is all due to retaliation because Liz Cheney is head of the probe commission and the team to hold Trump and his cronies accountable for the insurrection last January, and everybody who's been, involved. So, of course, Trump's not going to like that. So, and he doesn't really care for Liz Cheney anymore. So yeah, he's going to go against her. Anybody who goes against Liz Cheney, he's going to support. That's the maturity of the former guy. Also, recently, chewing out our wonderful president for his behavior in Afghanistan, or for his actions towards the pullout of Afghanistan, which, part of it, I stated last episode, I agree that our president could have handled it a lot better. And it was probably not a good move by our current president to handle the pullout as much as he did, or as awful as he did, or in the way that he did. With Trump, though, I mean, he can't hold anything back. I mean, if he's still able to be on social media, he's going to use that platform to pretty much promote all the lies that he's been doing ever since he was president, before he was president. So that's what you got. That's what you got from him. Some of you may know, recently the statue of Robert E. Lee was removed, one of the biggest Confederate statues that our nation has. And, it's a sign to end racism, right? But guess what the former guy decided to comment on the news lines out there. So he believes, and he said, only if Robert E. Lee could lead our troops in Afghanistan or lead the pullout in Afghanistan, it would have been a complete victory. What an embarrassment we are. Meaning, yes, I mean, it's pretty obvious what he's saying. Of course, Robert E. Lee would have done it better. Robert E. Lee would have helped our country, in a much better way is what he's saying. And this whole disaster in Afghanistan wouldn't have occurred if he led our troops. And I think that's disrespectful. That's a very bold opinion and a very asinine one. In fact, there's no respect for many people. Only his own posse and only people that support him. Even some people that do support him, he doesn't have respect for. I mean, a lot of people who committed the January 6th insurrection on his behalf have expressed that they felt duped, that they felt like that, he lied to them, that he led them to a false promise, and that he pretty much insulted them. A lot of his now former followers have stated that on news lines like CNN and MSNBC. And you're shocked? You're shocked that the former guy would, go behind his word or not be truthful or be indecent? No, not him. I mean, given his rap sheet, I wouldn't trust him to say he was going to go to the store and grab some milk and come back, or go run a quick errand to me back. Never mind saying he's going to keep his word that if you do what he says, that he's going to reward you. But anyway, he has no respect for his own people, no respect for the American people whatsoever. It shows pretty evident that he is racist to some extent. He definitely has some bias. I know that he's strongly opinionated. That's pretty obvious as well, why he's banned from both Facebook and Twitter. And and now he makes comments like this that pretty much supporting a racist general, a general that was a slaver and supported slavery, obviously, and was all for slavery and supported and fought against abolishing slavery. So pretty much promoting racism and was all for racism. Trump is supporting someone like that and shedding good light on someone like that. Not condemning him. It'd be one thing if he said, well, Robert E. Lee did a lot of bad things. You know, he supports slavery, which wasn't right. You know, it's completely disrespectful and something we should not tolerate. However, you know, he was a good general. You know, he did lead his troops well. He was a good leader in some aspects, so I think he could have handled maybe this whole thing in Afghanistan better. So even something like that would have been more credible than full blown out saying that if he took over for the troops in Afghanistan or this whole movement or transition from Afghanistan to the U.S., it would have been a lot more smoother. And to say, you know, we're a complete embarrassment. Now, I agree our country needs a lot of work, but pretty much that whole comment, that whole deal is completely, extremely disrespectful, but not surprising coming from, you know, knowing where the source is coming from. Another thing that the former guy did that's kind of like, are you kidding me? That is disrespectful, because disrespect correlates with him very well. He's a very disrespectful person. So yesterday was the anniversary for 9/11, the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 tragedy. You know, the attacks in New York and the Pentagon and, you know, all these flights, these airline flights that didn't make it to their destination and ended in tragedy. Other stuff. Attack on America from Afghanistan, or from the terrorists in Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, from the Middle East, from terrorist groups, Al-Qaeda, and part of it ISIS, I guess we're learning as well. So we were celebrating the 20th anniversary of that yesterday. And you think that, you know, the former guy being, you know, the former president, being in politics, even business, even once upon a time showed his support and his saddened condolences for the event. You know, it once showed that he was supportive of things that happened. I mean, you would think that he would be, you know, mourning or be, you know, participating in some, you know, ceremonies or helping out or saying a good word out there or not. No. The former guy yesterday or last night, instead of all that, decides to join up with his son, Donnie Jr., and commentate a boxing match that took place, I think it was in Vegas. I could be wrong. Some big boxing match that occurred last night. He's going to do commentary for and comment and do commentating on with his son, Don Jr. Really? Really? Like, instead of, you know, attending ceremonies, like I say, and putting out a good word out there, you're going to commentate on, you know, on a boxing match, on some pay-per-view event. We see where his priorities are. You see where his intentions lie. And, you know, the Republican Party hasn't said much of anything about it. Has just let this go. Has been silent on this whole matter, which should reflect and completely be all the evidence and all that we need to understand and see how the Republican Party really is. To understand how the Republican Party, or the Republican Party's philosophy, lies today. You know? It's all the evidence we need to see where the Republican Party lies today. And it's a mess. I've known this for a long time. I've addressed it in the first few episodes. The Republican Party is a mess. And this is pretty much nearly seals the deal. That something needs to be done about the Republican Party. Apparently, we need to go after the Republican Party. Us independents need to team up with Democrats. Or us centrists need to team up with liberals. And need to take on some of these far-right conservative Republicans who want to support disrespect and support doing the wrong thing and representing our country in a very wrong way, and kind of, you know, go about this thing, you know, in a very disrespectful manner. We need to stand up against that, fight against these Republicans, and need to do whatever we need to do to have the Republican Party be held accountable. But the former guy, I mean, he's like their generator. He's like their frontline man. He's like almost like their gatekeeper. And the more he does these disrespectful things, and the more intense it gets, the more silent the Republican Party becomes. What else is a former guy going to do? Or what else will he be? I mean, anything that he wants to do, really, apparently. What else will he be disrespectful on? What other disrespectful things will he do? I guess we're going to have to sit tight and just watch. And watch the show, I guess, until Congress actually wants to hold a very immature, older, former president accountable for his actions. And no, I'm not talking about Clinton. That's years and years ago. I'm talking about the former guy. Yeah. All right. Now it is time to talk about, we'll give you the latest updates on COVID-19 and the vaccinations. So, for those who have not listened to an episode of Courtesy Call before, yes, this is where I go online. I look up the numbers. I pull the numbers online of the updated numbers of number of cases throughout the country, the world, and right here in the Granite State, New Hampshire. And then I give you the update on numbers of people who have been fully vaccinated or been at least got one dose of the vaccine versus those who are fully vaccinated. Again, here in the U.S., worldwide, and here in the Granite State. So, these numbers are pulled from yesterday. I usually pull a day before. These numbers are pulled from yesterday, which was Saturday, September 11th, 2021, and are as follows. So currently, the number of total cases here in the United States are 40,914,456 total cases here in the United States. Was sadly very unfortunate, 658,865 total deaths. Very sad, very, very unfortunate. Worldwide, we have a total of 219,456,675 total cases worldwide, with sadly and very unfortunate 4,547,782 total deaths around the world worldwide. Very sad and very unfortunate. Here in the Granite State, oh wow, look at that. 11111 all across the board. We have a total of 111,111 total cases here in the Granite State, with sadly and very unfortunate 1,441 total deaths here in the Granite State, New Hampshire. Very sad and very, very unfortunate. You look at these numbers. The numbers are rising. They are increasing. They are going up. However, you have to ask yourself, how many of these people are fully vaccinated versus not vaccinated? How many who are not? And, and like I said, the numbers are going to go up. They're going to increase because people are mingling. They're going to, they're participating in social events. They're going to sporting events, concerts, other social gatherings. So, and they're allowed to. The CDC has made it clear that they are allowed to participate in social events if they're fully vaccinated. But again, the vaccine does not cure the virus. It doesn't. That is the truth. It doesn't. So you still can get it even if you are fully vaccinated. You just suffer low to moderate symptoms at the very most if you're fully vaccinated. However, if you're not fully vaccinated, you should worry, as you can suffer the full effects from the virus, the full severe effects from the virus. And that's something I'm understanding is getting way out of hand and something you do not want. So it's in your best interest to get vaccinated, you know? And a lot of places are making a big deal about the numbers rising. The numbers are increasing. They're increasing. They're rising. They're going to. They're going to. Again, the vaccine does not cure the virus. It's not technically a vaccine. It's a shot. Vaccines will get rid of stuff permanently so you can't get it. This doesn't do that. You know, I mean, look at past history, like I explained in past couple episodes. I mean, you get polio, right? You take a polio vaccine, you don't get polio anymore. You know, the mumps, you take a mumps vaccine, you don't get the mumps anymore, right? The COVID-19 vaccine, you still can get COVID-19, you just will get very low to moderate symptoms, you know, at the very, very most, you know, if you're fully vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, well, you should worry because you could suffer the full severe effects from the virus. So, get yourself vaccinated. Get yourself fully vaccinated now. And help get this thing under control. And speaking of vaccinations, here are the numbers, the latest numbers of how many total doses have been given versus out of those total doses, how many are fully vaccinated. How many people are fully vaccinated? So, again, these numbers are pulled up from yesterday, which was Saturday, September 11th, 2021, and are as follows. Here in the United States, there have been a total of 378,569,717 total doses administered here in the United States. With out of those doses, they are 177,899,458 people have been fully vaccinated, which leaves it to 54%, which means it has gone up since then. It has gone up since last week. In 1 week, it has gone up by a little over 2 million, almost 3 million. About 2 million, almost 3 million. And has gone up by 0.2% in 1 week. That's more it's done in like a month, in the past month and a half. So that's exciting. That's amazing. I love that. Keep that going. Keep getting vaccinated. Keep getting your shots. Worldwide, it looks like we have a total of 5,663,289,065 total doses have been given. With out of that number, 2,331,276,333 people have been fully vaccinated worldwide, which is great, brings it up from 20-something to now 30% of the worldwide. 30% of the globe have been fully vaccinated. Number's gone up a bit in 1 week. Happy about that. Got to keep it going, though. Let's try to get that number close to 50 or 60%. Get that number to 50 or 60%. We can collect absolute, incredible, amazing data that can give us extremely accurate view of how this virus is and the vaccines or the shots and determine if we, in fact, do need a third shot or not. So, keep yourself safe. Here in the Granite State, New Hampshire, we have there have been a total of 1,745,449 total doses have been administered. With out of that number, there have been there are 821,161 people who have been fully vaccinated here in the state of New Hampshire, which gives it a percent of 60.4. 60.4% people here in the Granite State of New Hampshire are fully vaccinated. And that's awesome. That's where we wanted to reach. And if we can get the country there as well, that'll be fantastic. And I think it's well on its way now with the Biden administration's vaccine mandate that got signed into play this past week. And, people taking more interest in understanding the vaccines more about how safe they really are and how it, what it really does for you and such. This is enabling people to, more to want to get the vaccine and be safe and get vaccinated. This is warming people up more to get vaccinated and to be fully vaccinated. So, and to do that. So I think it's a great thing. Let's get that number up there. If it can increase by at least 5% our next episode will be in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, if that can increase by like a good 10, almost 15%, that'll be amazing. I'll be super happy. If we can get that to 60, if we can get the U.S. to be at 60% within 2 weeks, that'll be awesome. That'll be our goal. That'll be amazing. So, and if we can get the rest of the world to be at 60% or at least at 40% or 45% even within the next 2 weeks, That'll be outstanding. That'll be outstanding. So let's keep it going. Get yourself fully vaccinated. A lot of places are not allowing people inside their institutions or to become their customers or guests unless they're fully vaccinated. That's right. I went to go see the Red Sox play last Wednesday. They played the Tampa Bay Rays. It was the last game of the homestand series of the season. But anyway, I was at Fenway Park. And before I went into Fenway, I went to a bar that was technically inside of Fenway, called Game On. Very popular bar. And, they require you to be, to show, it didn't require your Vax cards. It required you to wear a mask, I believe. But I think they said they're going to start requiring Vax cards. Or some places there might require Vax cards to prove that you've been fully vaccinated. I know there's some concerts where you have to be fully vaccinated. I know late shows in New York City require fully vaccinated. I know New York City's been big on that, to look at your fully vax card before you fully are admitted into certain capacity areas. So certain areas, but yeah, there's a lot of places that are going to still require you to be fully vaccinated before you become a guest, a customer, or participate in any activities. So get it done. All right. Well, we're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, it is the Headhunt segment and the 2 societal topics of my choice. Still more to come here on Courtesy Call.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Coming in to get a deal that includes existing customers. He'd probably buy Maple. We'll give him an even 6 foot. It's Fisker!
Wait. Did I just hear existing customers can get a deal?
Yep, at AT&T, new and existing customers get our best deal on all smartphones.
That's pretty great. You think it looks 6 foot?
I sure do. Kind of.
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals on all smartphones. Get up to $800 off our latest 5G smartphones.
Oh, my. With Chase Freedom Unlimited, I earn all this cash back? Oh, I gotta tell everyone. Hey, Rita, you can earn 3% on dining, including takeout.
Bon appetit.
Hey, Kim, you earn 5% on travel purchase through Chase.
Way ahead of you.
Hey, Neil, you can earn 3% at drugstores.
Buddy, I'm right here. Why are you yelling?
Because that's what I do. You're always earning with 5% cash back on travel purchase through Chase. 3% at drugstores, 3% on dining, including takeout, and 1.5% on everything else you buy. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip-hop group tag team to help you plan dessert?
Fresh vanilla, rocky road, chocolate, peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Building a better bank starts with looking at something old and saying, really? So Capital One is building something completely new. Capital One Cafes. Inviting places with people here to help you, not sell you. And savings and checking accounts with no fees or minimums, because that's how it should be. You can open one from right here or anywhere in 5 minutes. Seriously, 5 minutes. This is Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
The greatest stories don't have to end.
If we do this, we're gonna do it our own way.
They can expand, evolve, connect each generation to the next. The stories continue. Only on Disney Plus.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Courtesy Call Podcast here on IPMNation.com. For those who are just joining us, before the break, I talked about, I went into some of the things that the former guy has been saying and doing as of late. Have been very disrespectful, defending a general who was a slaver, and endorsing opponent of someone who's been trying to hold him accountable, and of course disrespecting and disregarding the whole 20th anniversary of September 11th ceremonies or anything to do with that or anything like that, to do some commentary on a pay-per-view boxing matchup last night. So some very rough stuff. I also gave you all updates on COVID-19 and the numbers on COVID-19 and the vaccinations, and I told you what the latest was, and showed progression and the number of people who have been fully vaccinated. Numbers have definitely gone up in the vaccinations, which is good. More people are getting vaccinated, and more people should be getting vaccinated. And I would say it would be good. We're just waiting to hit that 65, 70%. 60 would be a heck of a lot better than 50. 60 would probably be, somewhat suffice. Depending on I'd say 60 would be good, but 65, 70 would be a lot better. And obviously anything, higher than that or more than that would be a lot better. But, so yeah. If you have any questions or comments that pertain to anything that's been discussed on this episode or previous episodes, feel free to reach us out on both our Facebook and Twitter, which our Facebook is facebook.com/Courtesy Call Podcast, and our Twitter is @Courtesy Call for you. That's the @ symbol, Courtesy Call, the number 4, and uppercase letter U. And let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts, your questions, your comments. I'll round them up this following week or two, and I'll have them available for the next episode, which will be episode 32, which will be available for download not next week, because remember, we're postponing a week because I have some things I have to take care of, some affairs that I'm going to be doing some things. So anyway, it's going to affect the production of the following episode. So episode 32 will be available for download on IPMNation.com a week from today, which will be Sunday, September 26th, 2021 at 10 a.m. on IPMNation.com. So, well, I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend, or what's left of it. I know it's, like I said, it's getting much cooler out there. And if you look around, you'll notice here in the Northeast that the leaves are changing. That's right, they are changing. Take a drive around in your next commute, look around the trees. Leaves are starting to change color, and they will this time of year. So it's very exciting. And it won't be long before they fall down onto, your lawns and your backyards, and you have to start raking them up and putting them into trash bags and yada yada. So, but yeah, it's exciting. Pumpkin spice stuff is already out. Pumpkin flavored stuff is already out. They're already serving pumpkin ice cream, pumpkin cookies, pumpkin lattes, pumpkin flavored beverages, including pumpkin style beer. I know Sammy Adams just had their jack-o'-lantern beer that came out recently that I'm a big fan of. I tried some of that. It's pretty good. Also, the notorious and infamous Oktoberfest is already out. They usually bring that out usually the first week of September. And some places were serving it as early as 2 weeks ago. So, interesting. 2 or 3 weeks ago. Actually, I say the end of August they were serving it. Some places were serving it. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff, and cannot wait. So, what I failed to mention earlier when I talked about, and what I failed to mention in the last episode or 2 or 3 or so whatnot, other than my love for the fall season because of the holidays, because of the cold, because of pumpkin spice stuff and all that and this and that, I failed to mention the other reason why a lot of us like fall. Specifically, some of us sports fanatics. That's right. The fall usually kicks off not just hockey, but also kicks off my second favorite sport of all time, football. That's right. Football. As the NFL kicked off its season last Thursday as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their current Super Bowl champs, took on the Dallas Cowboys, and they beat the Cowboys by 2 points. So it was a very exciting game, very good kickoff to NFL season. So that was exciting. Today we'll kick off the season for a lot of teams, including our beloved New England Patriots. That's right. Our New England Patriots start the season today, later this afternoon, as they take on the Miami Dolphins a little after 4 o'clock. And we'll see our new starting quarterback, new starting QB, Mac Jones, who's been doing very well so far with the Patriots, and was named our starting QB, I think, like a week or two ago, when they got rid of Cam Newton, who wasn't really doing much. So, anyway, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to check that out, at least some of it, because some of you may know that I now bowl, because hockey season's getting to a late start because trainers and facilities are open late and stuff, and they don't have much staffing or whatnot. And so, anyway, hockey season's going to be prolonged. It's going to be a little delayed for me. I'm not going to postpone it for at least until half the season. I'll probably resume hockey in January for the second half of the season and join in then because of that. But in the meantime, I am bowling. My lady and I are bowlers. We both bowled in college for NHTI here in Concord. And we have our fellow teammate with us who are part of a bowling team called Lane Crashers. That's what we're called, Lane Crashers. And we are part of the Southern New Hampshire USBC League, which takes place in Merrimack, New Hampshire. And we have a game tonight. So that's why we're only going to watch part of the Patriots game. I'm sure they'll have it broadcasting at the bowling alley and some of the bars and some of the rooms and other places around the bowling alley. But I will be focused on our matchup and looking to beat our opponent for tonight. So wish us luck. But ultimately, wish the Patriots luck. Good luck on the Dolphins. So want to give a little spiel about that. But you better believe it. Once hockey season starts, I'll be giving more spiels as hockey season starts. You'll start to see my fanaticness, of hockey, a little bit more once the season starts. So exciting. So that's pretty much my weekend. Patriots and bowling matchup tonight with our bowling team. And getting ready for another week in the grind. And then next week I have a busy weekend, as you know. Reason why we're prolonging the episode 32 or postponing it, but or extending the time it comes out. But anyway, hope you guys are getting out, enjoying all the fun stuff that there is to enjoy. There's some fairs out there. Enjoy the fair. Enjoy whatever you're doing. All right. Now it is time for the Headhunt segment. For those who are unfamiliar with what the Headhunt segment is like your first episode that you've listened to or not familiar with it or weren't paying attention to the other episodes. Let me give you another spiel and rundown of what the Headhunt segment is. So basically, it's a segment where I go on online resources. I go on like social media resources, sources like Facebook, Twitter, et cetera, dominantly, mostly Facebook. And I go on the pages of sources that I trust the most, that are trusted sources, like CNN, MSNBC, and usually WMUR News 9, which is our local news network here in the state of New Hampshire. And I look up some of the articles they posted and read them off and see if anybody's commented. And those who have commented or asked a question underneath who I feel lacks substance or the question was not answered or not answered correctly, I will then add my 2 cents worth to add substance to that comment, or try to answer that question as accurately and sufficiently as possible. So that's pretty much the Headhunt segment. So I'll usually do about 2 or 3 of these, and then So without further ado, let's get underway. So this first article is off from one of the most trusted sources I named off of. It was CNN, which I rely on their stuff a lot. I believe they're very, very factual. So this article I'm pulling up, has to do with, speaking of which, COVID-19. Has to do with the pandemic. And it reads, or it says above, what is usually a joyful time for faculty, staff, and students is now a frantic time. So this has to do with schools and the pandemic, and I'm assuming, and how some people from the schools and staff feel about it. It says, haunted by fear of illness with the Delta variant of COVID-19, Ruth Ben-Giat writes for CNN Opinion, asking faculty to participate in practices that can jeopardize collective well-being is unattendable in a moral as well as public health sense. And the title reads, I'm a college professor, not a COVID guinea pig. So I'm assuming it's, like I said, these faculty, staff, teachers, professors, instructors, giving their opinion on how things are and their feelings towards the whole deal, to the whole pandemic and virus and whatnot, and the Delta variant and COVID-19, and just everything in general. And I can imagine a lot of teachers and professors, instructors are very frustrated at the whole deal, and expressing their frustration of it. So, and a person by the name of Russ, a man by the name of Russ, commented underneath this. She can quit. Funny how educators are allowed a different standard than other essential employees. I'm taking it that this comes from teachers leaving, professors want to leave, instructors want to leave because it's just too much for them. Now, it is too much. I mean, this whole thing is uncomfortable. And I'm not saying that, they didn't have justification or their frustration is not valid. The frustration is very valid. It's everybody's frustrated. Everybody is. But you need to be strong, and you need to stay in there. Hang in there. And don't leave your jobs. Don't quit, because, believe it or not, it makes things worse. Because not only you lost your job or you quit your job, but also these students they don't have anyone to teach them stuff. And they're not able to get an actual good education, or get any education and sort. Like any education. And that's the thing that is really sad that people have to understand, teachers and instructors have to understand, is that when you became a teacher and you become a professor, instructor, okay, of an education facility, you have a responsibility. You have the expectation to stay with your students and teach your students and not bail on your students. Your students' education and what they learn and how they are successful throughout their adulthood is based on how you teach them. And it's all on you, or majority of it is on you. By leaving your place of work, quitting your job, no longer becoming a teacher, professor, instructor, you not only put a predicament on your coworkers and other staff at the school, at the educational facility or institution or institute, you also, leave these students. You leave these students and you abandon them. Exactly what you do. And you fail them. And they have no one else to teach them these things. I mean, they might get some other person to teach them, but usually the person to sub in or fill in for that position, for a short period of time, is someone who doesn't know as much about the subject that you're teaching and can't teach sufficiently and isn't really geared and conditioned and taught for that specific subject. They tried cross-training these teachers, and some of these teachers just don't know about that subject. So they can't teach it effectively. They may have books to go by, but that can only do so much. It really is a big impact and a big difference from when you have the actual teacher who's gone to school for years and years for that subject, or to become a teacher who has taught the program and the curriculum and knows that subject, taught the bomb, knows how to teach it and deliver it and such, versus someone who's just a sub and a fill-in. Anybody who's had a substitute teacher on substitute teacher day knows how that is. It's completely different. It's not the same. So bailing on your students, not okay. Leaving your job, premature. Not being strong enough, being weak because you can't deal with the whole process. I understand management does not have this thing together and under control. I understand that the government has everything in an uproar and doesn't know what they're doing half the time. I understand that it's frustrating, and I get that it's just like, confusing and upsetting. But the worst thing to do is to quit your job. Hang in there and do the right thing. Actually fight the government, fight your management team, and influence some things that make sense. Not doing the complete opposite and just bailing out. So, okay. So that was that article, and that is my 2 cents. Where then quitting on your job, I have to agree with Russ. It's a double standard. It seems like there is a double standard. But I think promoting someone to quit their job or encouraging them to quit is not appropriate. It's just not appropriate. So, all right. Well, the second topic is on MSNBC's Facebook page, another major news network whose sources I trust, who gives out nothing but trusted sources. And this article has to do with the January 6th insurrection and what's been going on with that. We haven't shared much details about that as of late, so I guess the time is due for that as the investigations are still underway and whatnot. So this article, again, it says Scott McFarlane on new internal police reports about January 6th. Our latest reporting shows the red warning signals that were just describing got brighter and louder after dawn of January 6th. And it's a video that they posted. It was yesterday afternoon. And a woman by the name of Jill commented, when a political party thinks they can overthrow an election for a con artist president, we have problems in America. They had power for 4 years and can't give it up without a fight. Too freaking bad. And I agree with Jill. I agree. That's exactly it. I think a lot of Trump supporters are a bunch of crybabies, as you could say, a bunch of whinies. Like to whine a lot. They complain. Poor sports, a lot of them are delusional. Like to cause a lot of issues and a lot of problems because they just can't face the truth. They don't like facts. They don't want to listen to facts. They've listened to only conspiracy theories and political rhetoric and the nonsense that comes out of the former guy's mouth. And they believe in it. And they arouse the stock of just fake, false information. And people feed into that and are assembled. And they get together and they complete all these, missions or all these tasks that they sign to one another to somehow make justice that they believe is making justice, when really it's causing a lot of problems, a lot of issues. And these people just need to stop. I've talked about this many, many times through previous episodes, including the first few. And I think several episodes back, I talked about this. It's just, they need to grow up. These are full-grown adults acting like children, throwing temper tantrums because they can't get their own way. They believe in nonsense as if it's like the purest thing to believe in, when really it's just adolescent behavior that causes more problems that this country just does not need, especially right now. We don't need any more problems. We don't need any more issues. What we need is people to come to their senses and start doing the right thing. It's not just with the insurrection from January 6th. No. This also goes with the pandemic, with the vaccines, with the vaccinations, to get yourself fully vaccinated. People are having issues with that. And the conspiracy theories over the vaccines. Also, people talking about, the issues over in Florida about, border control, over in Texas and Mexico, over worrying about other bigger issues that this country needs to face. Instead, we want to act like adolescent children and just, throw false information out there. We want to damage our capital, damage our country, and really, not find any resolve. I think, honestly, it's pretty apparent that a lot of supporters of the former guy and the far-right conservatives, the far-right Republicans out there that are much of the government's problem right now, I'm going to say that they are the reason why, and they're one of the reasons why that this country is burning, that this country is not getting much of anything done. I'm going to say they act very immature, and they like to arouse their false accusations and like to start the conspiracy theories. They want to attack the government because they can't get their own way. They're willing to justify this poor behavior. They'll justify this ignorance that these people are committing and do nothing about it. This is a sham. America is burning, and these are the many reasons why. It's not all of them, but it's most of the reasons. So I agree. The political party that thinks they can overthrow an election for a con artist, a former guy, is a problem. It's a problem in America. That the answer to this is violence. The answer to it is immaturity. And to arouse this behavior, to support this behavior, and do nothing about it is absurd. You need to hold people accountable for their actions. That's just how it's done. That's how people learn from their mistakes, is by consequences and being held accountable. We said, oh, people don't need to be held accountable. They can do whatever they want, including trashing the Capitol and acting like immature mobsters and immature little children. We said they don't need to be held accountable. Yeah? Really? Really? Because a lot of people are not being held accountable today, and look where our country's going. Down the drain. Because justice is not present, first of all. Justice is not present. Second of all, nobody really believes in facts and believes in doing the right thing. And third, people want to keep setting the fire ablaze. They want to add fuel to the fire and do nothing about it. You want to talk about the pork? This is where the pork's coming from. It's not coming from the left. I'm sorry. The left has their own fair share of mistakes right now and their own things they need to take care of right now. I think the big stock of the pork, though, comes from the far right that ignited this fire that caused all these issues to happen. That's my point. Okay, leave the Afghanistan issue with Biden, okay? That's Biden's fault. The whole pullout was premature. I think he could have done the transition better. He could have handled the situation better, made sure nobody was left behind, and now he's taken fall for it as his approval ratings have dropped. President Biden's approval ratings have dropped because of his actions. There you have it. I have no problem, telling how it is. But, you can't blame it all on our current president. You have to look at the former guy, and the proof's in the pudding. The pork is coming from the far right. So, went a little too long on that, but I kind of touched a nerve. Could you tell? Touched a little bit of a nerve. All right. So, our third and final topic, our final article, has to do with, of course, the big event from yesterday, or the anniversary of yesterday. That was September 11th. Yesterday was September 11th, the 20th anniversary and such. So there was a lot of ceremonies that took place, including the big one in New York City. And, of course, President Biden was there. Former President Barack Obama was there. And their wives, both Jill Biden and Michelle Obama. Bruce Springsteen sang a lovely tune there, and all the families and friends for the victims of from the tragedy were able to read off the names, including their loved ones of those who were victims for the extreme tragic event 20 years ago. And this article has to pertain to the differences between how America is since September 11th. And I have my own opinion about this. I've shared this before in previous episodes about some of the things that I think, like the differences and how it affect America, with the events that occurred on September 11th. Very tragic day, very tragic day. I was in grade school. I was in junior high, in school when I heard about it. Like a lot of people around my age range or age bracket, learned it from, or where they were when they learned it from and such. And I think that the event itself was horrific. Absolutely, a complete tragedy. Tragedy. And I think that the right thing was to retaliate. I don't know about going into a whole war, but definitely retaliating was much needed. But how has America came from that? How has it been since then? How has that affected America within the last 20 years? It has crippled us a bit. It has. Actually, quite a bit. As I explained in previous episodes, that it has crippled America. It has. We went from very strong country with a very strong backbone, grab the bull by the horns, take a hands-on approach, be aggressive, and think things through and do things the right way, powerhouse, dominant, making sense country, to very sensitive, feeling very vulnerable, of course, knowing that we could get attacked and we're not invincible. And to know that, there are terrorists out there that can attack us at any time and strike fear into us. We've got very paranoid. Anxiety has gone through the roof. I think anxiety has definitely shot up a bit. I know that paranoia has gone up a bit, and our guard has been up. It's cost this country a lot of money because of the whole war on terrorism and shipping our troops over to Afghanistan, to the Middle East, to get everything under control. A lot of people have made some sacrifices. Some families have had some losses. I think that we have seen changes in the government and economy numerous times and such. Security has definitely been amped up. Of course, security is going to be amped up. To where you go to the airport, you not only do you have to walk through like a metal detector, but you have to get like searched and patted down and take stuff out of your pockets and make sure you have absolutely nothing on you. And airport security is just a lot more detailed than it was back then. Now, ever since the events, of course, a lot more guidelines. And I think racism has increased a little bit too. I think like even the first 10 years afterwards, a lot of people were hating those of Middle East descent, those who were from the Middle East, or even if they were just, if they were just Arabic of any sort, they were hated on. And a Muslim, anybody who was a Muslim couldn't get any, they were getting disrespected from people. I think it's definitely made us more sensitive. Like I said, I think that this country is now being more submissive, if that makes any sense. I think definitely being more submissive. I mean, like I said, we used to be a very dominant country to where we would not take crap from anybody and we would push back if we were pushed and some. Of course, there were bigger crime rates out there, and there was a lot more things that we needed to fix and change and such about ourselves. But overall, we had a big backbone and we were very dominant people. But yeah, we're a lot more submissive, a lot more sensitive. And I think that, things could be better. Things could be better, but it's something we definitely learn from. It's definitely something we'll never forget, including those victims, those who've fallen from it, and the victims from the event. It'll never be forgotten. The event will not be forgotten. And but I know there's a lot of things that we need to learn from. So, yeah. All right, well, that wraps up the Headhunt segment. Again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach us out on both our Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/courtesycall, or Twitter, which is @courtesycall4u. That's the @ symbol. Courtesy call, the number 4, and uppercase letter U. And let me know your thoughts, or if you have any questions, post them on there, and I'll gather them up in the next week or two and address them on the next episode, which will be episode 32, which will air a week from today, Sunday, September 26, 2021 at 10 a.m. on IPMNation.com. So, all right, now it is time for the 2 societal topics of my choice. So this is where I pick issues that are going on with society I feel need to be discussed at this point in time. That is a big issue and need to be addressed. That's being neglected and not talked about enough. I do like to give a review on previous societal topics I've discussed in the past, such as traffic violations. I always talk about that. Very sensitive about, people being unsafe on the road and people invading those safety guidelines on there. We're not blowing right past people without, giving signal, no signaling within 5 feet, going 20 to 30 miles over the speed limit, causing road rage, and making the possibility for an accident a lot more higher, by not following any safety guidelines. So another review I like to give is about parenting. Parenting has been terrible. It's been terrible for years. It needs to get better. Remember, you're in charge, not the child. You're not the child's best friend, okay? You could be the good parent and a very supportive parent, but you're not your child's best friend because your child doesn't respect you enough if he or she thinks you're on the same level as they are, or if you're on the same level, and they will take advantage of that and think it's okay to talk down to you. So you got to put your foot down and be like, no, I'm in charge. I'm authority. What I say goes. Okay, got it. All right, so these are 2 new topics for this episode. This first topic, the first of the 2 societal topics of my choice, has to do with parenting, actually. Has to do with if you're management at a job, if you are a teacher, instructor, or professor at a school facility, or institution or institute, if you are any type of authority figure. All right, and this, of course, has to do with discipline. A thing we lack, a thing a lot of people lack, discipline. I said before, earlier, that discipline is how we learn. You hold people accountable to their actions, then that's how they're going to learn. By arousing the situation and not holding anybody accountable, it makes it seem like the action is okay, and it is not. We don't like discipline because a lot of us don't like to be told what to do. A lot of us feel independent, like we can do whatever we want, and there's no consequences. So we can even do bad things or things that hurt people or harm people or put ourselves in predicaments, and there's nothing anyone can do. Well, you're kind of wrong. And even if you are an adult, don't think that because you're an adult that nobody can tell you what to do. Because there are people there that still can tell you what to do, even though you're an adult. Those people are called, well, either you're a professor or instructor at your college, or they're called mainly and mostly your boss. Your boss at your place of work. Whatever you do for work, or wherever you work, you have a supervisor or manager that's your boss. Yeah. That's technically your authority figure who's telling you what to do. They tell you, what to do for work, when to do it, how to do it, and if it's acceptable or not. And if you mess up and make mistakes, they're the ones that discipline you, or are supposed to discipline you and hold you accountable. That's how you do a better job. That's how you'll know how to do a better job next time. Okay? If you are in school, if you're learning certain subjects, your instructor, your professor, or teacher will tell you, what the subject is, tell you when to do your homework, how it should be done, and what is being learned that week or so. And if you don't do the assignment correctly or don't do what you're supposed to do correctly, within the class, they have the right to discipline you, to mark you down points or bounce you from the class depending on the situation. Or if you're even attending the classes, they have a right to bounce you out depending how many classes you've missed. So you're always going to have authority figure above you. And even when you graduate college, you go into a career, you have bosses, you have managers and supervisors. So to disrespect them makes no sense. Disrespecting them is only going to hurt yourself and not better yourself. Now, for those managers, supervisors, teachers, professors, instructors, wherever, directors, do your job correctly. Do your job correctly. You are a leader. You're a type of leader. Remember, I think it was the first, the first episode or 2, maybe 3 of the show of Courtesy Call that we did. That's of the show. I did a piece. One of the societal topics was actually about leadership. I talked about leadership. And I listed out the different types of leaders out there, different types of managers, supervisors, or different types of leadership roles that you can engage in. And, and what works best. A manager, supervisor, director, teacher, professor, instructor, those are all types of leaders. Those are all different leadership roles, right? Or all different leadership positions. They're mostly appointed. Not a lot of them. It's not common for them to be emergent, but they're mostly appointed. In other words, someone from a higher up position or a group of board of directors decide to say this person deserves to be a manager, supervisor, or director, and appointed you the position. They didn't have a group of people vote, like within the workplace. Only the directors appointed you. So, but it's your job as a leader to display good leadership skills and to lead by an example. And if you don't discipline your subordinates and your staff, they're just going to run all over you. And that's part of the reason why a lot of jobs are chaotic, is because a lot of employees are acting belligerent, acting adolescent, acting immature, quitting their job, making up excuses, showing up late, not taking their job very seriously because the management, they say, is a joke. They believe the management team is a joke. And why should they follow or take anything serious that is led by a group of people who are a joke? And I say to those managers, supervisors, directors, you got to discipline them. If you show them that, hey, you show up late, you're written up. If you show up late again, you lose your job. If you say, okay, you don't do your job, you're written up. Or, if it's another couple offenses, another offense or two, then you lose your job. If you put your foot down and discipline your workers, they will take you seriously and will not be so easy to leave the job. Maybe that's one of the cure or one of the solutions to these people leaving their jobs now. Maybe we should be more aggressive with them. Because I think before this whole thing, we were being too sensitive. We're being too giving. We're laying back too much. Where I think that the problem is we're not being dominant enough. We're not having too much of a backbone here. We're letting people just run wild. And now when they're able to, or now when they're actually being disciplined and being held accountable for their actions, it's like, oh, this is too much. I can't deal with this. They can't handle it. So they leave their jobs or they don't do their jobs properly. They sit around. They're lazy. Not a lot of it's your fault. A lot of it could be the parents. Parents didn't teach their kids how to be responsible, or I would say active, but responsible as well. I taught them not to be, go-getters or to do their job well and sufficiently and efficiently. So, and to give a damn. So, part of it, a lot of it can be blamed on the parents, but some of it's going to be blamed on you as the boss, the manager, supervisor, the director, to make sure you hold your employees accountable and teach them the importance of responsibility. You could choose not to. It's not within your job description really to teach them. I mean, you just have to make sure they do their job properly. But it would probably better your situation if you did. And the reason why things are going a lot worse than they initially were is because a lot of managers, supervisors, and directors don't want to do that. They rather just, just throw the person out or not hold them accountable at all. So, parents, again, your child, they're going to run wild all over you. The same with employees versus managers, supervisors, and directors. Same with children versus parents. Your child, how your child's success is depends on how you parent them. You don't get yourself involved with them. If it's not your interest to be involved with them all the time, then you got some issues you need to work out. You need to figure out, did something happen in your life to where this wasn't a thing? Where you weren't shown that, to give extra love to your child or to get involved with your child was essential as a parent? Were you not taught that? Did you grow up in a family? Did your parents, teach you or not show you enough love and affection or get that involved with you? I mean, it's probably unfortunate that they didn't. I'm sure that, maybe it's gone back several generations to where it's been generation of generation just didn't really, get too much involved with their children, to where it's it's a domino effect, really. But you really should get involved with your child. It's probably better. It's more beneficial, a lot better for your child to have a parent that's involved. For you to get involved with your child more, to take them out to the park, play with them. Don't just bring them to the park and sit down. Play with them or join an activity with them. Play board games with them. Even watch a game show sometimes on rainy days, on rainy nights. Watch a game show. Do something to get involved with your child, because, a parent's support is valuable to a child. It's very valuable. Can't even express the whole deal with that, how important it is. But discipline your child. Your child acts up, you got to punish them. You got to give them a consequence. A punishment that fits the action. Tell them they can't go out on a Saturday night. Tell them they can't, watch TV for like a couple days to a week, depending on the offense. Tell them that they can't, do the fun things that they want to do. And find the things that matters the most. I'm telling you, parents, the phone thing will work. A lot of like teens and young adults are relying on their phone. We're all relying on their phone, but I believe that teens and young adults of today are very dependent on their phone for luxury and recreation. They can't find recreation anywhere else. They're dominantly on their phone, primarily on their phones for that. If you threaten to take their phone away or give them a modification phone or phone that's modified like a flip phone from 10, 15 years ago, I'm pretty sure, they'll still be able to communicate with you, but they're not going to like that they don't have as much bells and whistles and features than they did before. And they're going to feel like they're definitely being consequenced. And that'll be very effective. Trust me. You take away their smartphone and hand them a flip phone instead, their behavior will change dramatically. That's one of the things you can do. Not hang out with their friends, that's fine. Or not have internet usages or internet privileges. Only to do their schoolwork or to do work. That's it. That is a good way to go. So I think these are effective. And I think the other thing is, not able to watch sports or play sports. Sports is very popular. Take sports away from them. Have them still get exercise, but no sports. Find a way to do that, make that happen. I'm pretty sure they'll change their behavior real quick. So, discipline is key. Discipline your child. Discipline people. Stay on top of your job, or things are going to get much worse. I guarantee it. So, all right. So, the second societal topic of my choice. The second societal topic of my choice is something I've not discussed before. That's an issue that has happened in the world for years and years, decades and decades and decades. That's becoming more of an issue because of lack of funds, criminal activity, ideas of criminal activity, and people facing a lot of pressure and feel a lot of effects, negative effects from everything that's going on, with the whole economy and everything going on in the world. People just feel, but you can say a lot of pressure from everything. So, from financially. So this second topic is about thievery, theft. Okay? Thieves. Those who steal from people or companies or wherever or whoever. Thievery is obviously not okay. People do it because some people feel like they have no other option. They feel like they're backed up into a corner and doing things the right way just does not work. They feel that sometimes their jobs don't provide enough money and they've asked their manager or their supervisor or boss a bunch of times for more hours and their boss or their company just won't give it to them. So they're caught in a corner. They need to provide for family. They want to provide for themselves. A lot of people just lost money or got robbed because other people were, stealing from others and they were victims from that. So they had money stolen from them. It's kind of ironic that they would steal from other people. But there's a lot of other different reasons why people like to thieve. A lot of it is greed. Just greed. It's not just the things that you need and you're backed up into a corner. It's greed. It's, hey, there's money right there. I can just take it, be mine. Nobody would know. It's that adolescent mindset that kicks in and says stealing from people is the answer. Who's going to care? Who's going to know? I've had stuff taken away from me or stolen from me, so why can I not steal it from that other individual? That's the way people are thinking today. That's why people continue to think more and more and more as the pressure gets, even higher and more intense. Stealing is not okay. Stealing is wrong. Okay? Because not only does the victim not have something to use or to have to their things that they've earned, be able to enjoy some of the things that they earned, but you're gonna get you're gonna be held accountable. You have to give up what you stole when you're caught, and you're gonna be consequenced and hopefully disciplined to where you won't be able to do it again, and a lot of privileges will be taken away. You take away from people's mouths. Food out of their mouths. You take away from people's enjoyment that they've earned. People actually work a full-time jobs out there. A lot of people work a lot of hours to make sure they have what they want, or work hard to make sure they have what they have and such. And for you to take it away is just unfair completely. How disrespectful, rude, and ridiculous is it to just steal from people who have pushed all their energy into making sure they got what they got? And then you just take it away because you don't have the strength, and you don't have the mentality, and you don't have the work ethic and the mindset to work hard for what you have. Completely disrespectful. If it's not yours, don't touch it. If it's not yours, leave it alone. If you need something or want something, there's a such thing as asking. A lot of people today are actually more open to helping people out who need help than there were like 10, 15, 20 years ago. There are. There's a lot of people out there that if you just pretty much just ask them for something that you need or want, they'll help you out. They'll either give it to you or help you obtain it through other ways. We learned to be a very helping hand, helping country around here. We have. Whether it's food, helping to feed people, helping to give food to people. I hear stories all the time about people giving up their sandwiches or their lunches or their meals just to make sure someone else can eat, who has nothing to eat. More, soup kitchens being open. More, food pantries being open. More, food banks giving to more people, especially last year when people were losing their jobs and during the shutdown. And people donating more food rations to the food banks. People are open to helping people out today who ask for it. There's really no need to be a thief, and to commit theft. I recently had something of mine stolen. Yes, it does touch a nerve, and this is one of the inspirations for having this topic on this week's episode. I had something stolen from me, that I worked hard for. Something that I like to use and have all the time. And cost a little bit of money. It's not like hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars or anything like that, but it's still, it's a chunk of money. I mean, even something that's like a little bit of money is too much. It shouldn't be stolen or taken. But this thing that was stolen can be replaced. It can be replaced. It's just going to cost a little bit more money, but it can be replaced. And it's just the act of stealing from, me, if you asked me if you needed something or wanted something or needed help obtaining something, I'm more than happy to help you out. I'm more than happy to help anybody out. Okay. I can be a very, charitable person. I've been a charitable person for years. I have. And I have no problem helping a person out if they need help. You just got to ask and not take. Just don't take without asking. It's not yours. Leave it alone. Plain and simple. Security will be increased. More of a watch will be put into place. Consequences will be amped up. And we'll hold people accountable. If you think, for those who, support thievery, you're cowards. You're not smart. You're very dumb because there's no other, or you're doing a very dumb act because there's a lot more intelligent ways to obtain and get the things you want. It's called getting a job and working. There's a lot of jobs right now that are hiring because a lot of people are being adolescent. Yeah, there's the word again. And leaving their jobs prematurely and quitting their jobs. So there's a lot of jobs that are open. There's a lot of job openings out there. They're everywhere. Us employees and applicants, we're the choosers now. We're no longer the beggars. We're the choosers. And there's jobs out there that are available. So go get yourself a job, work your butt off, and earn what you have. Don't just take. It's what cowards do. It's what low-educated people do. It's what people who are way too sensitive and shy do. It's people who are weak. It's what they do. It's take away from people. It's the weak people. I'm not part of that nonsense. I don't even support that whatsoever. I want nothing to do with those kind of people and that kind of deal. Nothing. So I know that if I'm in an environment or area where theft is happening and people are touching stuff they shouldn't be touching, I'll say something about it. It will be reported. I'll try to see some way to enforce, some sort of consequence or whatnot, whatever. But ultimately, yes, I will just leave and go to a community that's a lot more decent. And I'll go into an area that's a lot more decent. And we need to increase consequences on thievery. And it should be illegal to take matters in your own hands if you witness thievery. So, because it makes such a big impact on both parties, but mainly the victim. So, all right. Well, that wraps up the 2 societal topics of my choice. And we have reached the end of the episode. That's right. We're at the end of the episode. Wrapped it up. I want to thank IPMNation.com's president and CEO, Matt Connarton, for giving us the spot. And, of course, all of you listeners for tuning in. Be sure to tune in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks for episode 32, which I'll discuss more developments that occur within the headlines around that point in time. I'm sure it'll be more about Afghanistan and more about the pandemic and about vaccinations, of course. I'll have a new headhunt segment, and there'll be 2 more societal topics of my choice, plus whatever is going on in the headlines at that point in time, like I said. So that will be episode 32, which will be available for download 2 weeks from today, Sunday, September 26th, 2021, at 10 a.m. on IPMNation.com. Also, feel free to check out Matt Connarton's Matt Connarton Unleashed, weekdays at 4 p.m. on 95.3 WMNH, and right here on IPMNation.com. All right, on the behalf of Courtesy Call Podcast, I am your host, Scott Perry. Be kind, be mindful, and do your part. Have a good week. Go Patriots.